So we do have another little trick we can use for determining all the zeros of our polynomial, and it's called Descartes' rule of signs. So you can determine how many positive real zeros and how many negative real zeros you have. This problem that we just completed, I know it was kind of craziness in this problem, but we had a negative 2 as a 0. Let's look at it here. We had a positive 5. We had 1 plus the square root of 2, which is a positive number, and we had 1 minus the square root of 2, which is a negative number. So in this particular one, we had 2 negatives and 2 positives. Okay, we can actually use Descartes' rule of signs to determine how many of each of those positive and negative zeros we're going to have. So to determine the number of positive real zeros, all you do is look at your polynomial in its original form and count the number of sign changes. For example, this goes from positive to positive. That doesn't count. This goes from positive to positive. That doesn't count. This goes from positive to negative. That's one sign change. Then it goes from negative to negative. That doesn't count. So the number of positive real zeros is just 1. So once you find that positive real zero, you don't have to test any more positive numbers because you already found it. Make sense? How about negative real zeros? Well, to calculate that one, you need to do p of negative x. So you would have 3 times negative x to the 6. We're just putting a negative x everywhere there's an x. Okay, simplify this. When you take a negative and raise it to the 6th power, you get a positive. So that's 3x to the 6th. Negative to an odd power is negative. So you have negative 4x to the 5th. Negative to an odd power is negative. Negative times negative is positive. And bring down the minus 3. Now let's count the number of sign changes again. This goes from positive to negative, that's 1. Negative to negative doesn't count. Negative to positive, that's 1. Positive to negative, that's 1. So this time it is possible that we're going to have 3. 1, 2, 3 negative real zeros. So here's the kicker. Anytime you have more than 1, you have to decrease that number by 2. Okay, so that means you could have 3, or you could just have 1 negative real zero. So here's what it means. Once you find 1, you have to keep testing them because it's possible you have 3. If you find 2, then you know you have 3 negative real zeros. But it is possible that you only have 1. So you could test all your negative numbers and still only get the 1. That's what Descartes' rule of sign means.